Well, they scored 2 more runs than they did on Monday. Yeah, no, I know they were off. But there was some good news about what happened to the Cincinnati Reds on Tuesday.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily source for all things Cincinnati Reds. I'm Stephen Offenbaker. He's Jeff Carr. We love baseball. We love these Reds even when they don't love us back. And we have taken our love of the game and our love for this team, and we have turned it into information for you. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And on today's podcast, Captain Chaos has returned. That's right. TJ Friedl is back with the big league club and back in the lineup. We'll talk about the impacts that he will have on the lineup moving forward. The Reds also shipped out Bubba Thompson in a flurry of moves yesterday, and they're going to take a look at left-handed outfielder Conner Capel. We're going to tell you who he is and what he can bring to the table. Frankie Montas returned from the injured list with an incredible start that the Reds ultimately wasted, but it was great. We're going to get you set for game 2 of this series coming up against the Arizona Diamondbacks with Graham Ashcraft on the mound for the Redlegs taking on Jordan Montgomery. A lot of baseball to get to. And before we get to any of it, shout out to today's sponsor, eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or dive alive. Keep that ride or dive alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, Jeff, TJ Friedl, Captain Chaos, the great disruptor, the original OG disruptor. Before there was Ellie, there was TJ Friedl. He's back, baby.
He is back, and he was at the top of the lineup too, looking pretty solid. Didn't quite, break out just yet. He had an 0 for day at the plate, but it was more the same for the Cincinnati Reds on the whole. They did not get hits when they needed to. They ended up getting 2 runs, though. That was nice to see. It's just they were down by 6 by the time they scored their first run. So, yes, that was a frustrating game to see. 6th loss in a row. But, and you and I kind of talked about this before we started recording, if this weren't the 6th loss in a row, if this was just like a loss that was either, they're playing 500 ball, they win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, or even if this was just like a back-to-back loss, something like that, I don't think we feel as bad about it. And we're looking at some of these positives like, let's go, because the Reds get TJ Friedl back and the roster moves in such an important way. I mean, there were a couple of guys that got sent down, but that lineup is going to hit. And I know that you're probably tired of hearing about it. You're probably tired of hearing David Bell say it. You're probably tired of hearing me say it. But the way that this team is moving, the way that this lineup is moving, they're due. And they're going to hit sooner rather than later because this team is just way better than what it has put on the field so far.
Well, think about this for a second, Jeff. The lineup. The things you can do with the lineup now that TJ Friedl is back, especially if there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound. You can have an all-lefty outfield now of, say, I don't know, either Capel or Fraley in left, TJ Friedl in center, and Will Benson in right. And that frees you up to play Spencer Steer at DH or second base. It keeps Santiago Espinal out of the lineup. Lots of improvements against right-handed pitchers for sure. The thing we need to find out, the thing that TJ is going to have to show us is, can he still hit left-handed pitching? Is that who he really is? Or was it an outlier of a season last year? I really hope that he shows us he can hit left-handed pitching. We're going to find out here in a hurry coming up in today's game, which we're going to get to a little bit later. But I am really excited to have TJ Friedl back with this team, Jeff, bringing back the things that he's done before. And he was asked about his rehab process. He was asked about what he intends to bring to the table coming back to Cincinnati. And he has a couple interesting things to say.
But I was hoping to be back by at least the San Diego series, which was last week, I believe. And so, shortly after that is not that bad. I'm happy with the way things progressed. I'm happy with the buildup. I'm happy with kind of the way things went in Arizona, building my strength up in my forearm and my wrist, getting that back. And then, the good thing about how everything kind of happened was I was able to stay on my legs pretty much the whole time, whether that was in the gym, working out, whether that was running, conditioning, whatever it may be. So I was just trying to put myself in the best possible situation for when I got cleared to start swinging, to ramp that up as quickly as I could. For me personally, I'm just going to go out there and play my game and do what I do. I think the worst thing you can do is put pressure on yourself, and that's for anyone. Especially in this game, the game of failures, is to put any added pressure on yourself. For me, I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to be with these guys. I'm happy to be back in the clubhouse and just be on this team. And, for me, I'm just going to do whatever I can on the field to make an impact, and then let the rest take care of itself.
I think the second half of that clip, Jeff, is really, really important because, it makes it very clear that he's not going to try and come in to Cincinnati right now and be super Friedl. He's not going to try and be the guy that fixes all that is wrong. He's just going to come do his thing and play his game. And that, by just the product of him doing that, is going to have positive impacts on everybody else. But I love where his mindset is about not applying extra pressure, not trying to be the savior of the season, not trying to be the one man riding of the ship. I like what he had to say there.
Yeah, and I think that's an important philosophy because really where the Reds are right now, they just need to hit, Steve. They just need to hit. And we can analyze this and analyze that and say, well, they're swinging at first pitches too much, or they're not swinging at first pitches too much. And like I saw a lot of people saying, boy, these Reds are too patient. Then I saw a lot of people get mad whenever, somebody made an out on the first pitch and like, boy, they're too aggressive. It's like, they just need to hit. And TJ Friedl understands getting back to this clubhouse, getting back on this field with this team, they all have to realize they're in the middle of a losing streak, yes, but one game is not going to make up for an entire losing streak. They got a whole season ahead, and they have to have the right mindset every single day. They can't just go out there and hit a 90-win home run because that doesn't exist. And also, you got to just play every single at bat as it comes. It was interesting because there was a trend on TJ Friedl last night, and we're going to get to Conner Capel here in just a moment, but there was a trend on TJ Friedl last night that I think we'll see continue, and that is that Diamondbacks pitchers threw him lots of curves. He saw 12 total pitches. He saw 5 knuckle curves, which was Zach Gallen, and then he saw 3 curveballs from other pitchers. Last year, Steve, really, really good fastball hitter was Captain Chaos TJ Friedl. He hit 340 against the fastball. He only hit $160 against breaking balls. I think we're going to see more of that this year. The pitchers are going to challenge him with the breaking ball.
Yeah, I think that is in fact the case, and hopefully TJ rises to the occasion and is able to take care of that, to get a more balanced pitch mix from the opposing pitchers. Here's what we know though, Jeff. He's replacing Nick Martini on this lineup and on this roster, and he's going to get that playing time. And he really can't be worse than what Martini was doing over the course of the beginning of the season. Hopefully Nick goes down to Louisville and figures it out. But no matter what TJ does here in the beginnings, it's not going to be worse than what Nick Martini was providing. So I'm okay with, I said this the other day, I'm okay with the Reds activating him now. If he's still got some rust to knock off, fine. Let's have him do it in Cincinnati. He'll play at a good center field while he's doing it, and he can figure it out. It's not the only roster move that they made, though. 26th man on the bench, ye of little at-bats, Bubba Thompson was sent down to Louisville to make way for Conner Capel. Now, Capel had a really good spring training, Jeff, at least at times. His spring numbers, 222, 263, 444. He was very streaky while out in Goodyear. He was sent to Louisville to start the season. He's been doing really well there. Let me find the game number. In 31 games, his slash line down in Louisville this season, 268, 397, 567. He's hit 7 home runs in those 31 games. Here's the important part of his stats. Never mind. I can hear people get ready to yell at me. Spring stats don't matter. AAA stats don't matter. Cool. 2 big league seasons he's played parts of, 54 games total. His slash line in those 54 big league games, Jeffrey, 280, 366, 408 with 3 big league home runs. He has hit a little bit during his limited time in the majors. Again, if you're comparing him to the guy that he's replacing, Bubba Thompson, this, I think, is an upgrade. Capel has played left field this season in Louisville. He's played center field this season in Louisville. He can be spotted in wherever you need him in the outfield, And it looks like he's going to be able to hold his own in the batter's box.
I'll take that because Bubba Thompson, look, we always talk about small sample size this, small sample size that. He had 18 at bats and he struck out 11 times. Like, did we really want to see more? I didn't want to see any more from him there. So, yeah, I am very glad that the Reds made this move, and I think that the roster got better. For as much as we, belabored the point of letting go of Mike Ford, it kind of feels like Conner Capel might fill that hole maybe just as well, maybe even a little bit better. But I know this, Steve, the roster got better despite the Reds losing their 6th straight game. They're going to hit, Steve. They're going to hit. This is a straight jacket. They're going to hit. Anyway.
From your lips to God. Right.
Oh, boy. But you know what I know that they're doing pretty well? Pitching, at least on the starting end. And Frankie Montas continued that trend on Tuesday. We'll talk about it coming up next. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom with DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and more to make her day that much better. Use code LOCKEDONMLB and you'll get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend $15 or more in your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. You can pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way she wants. Is she a bookworm? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Who doesn't love a good latte? Get your mom a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. Plus, you get the convenience of shopping on your phone, so you don't have to be that one dude or gal who's scrambling around trying to find the open store that might happen to find something that your mom likes. Trust me, I've been there. Sorry, Mom, that was a while ago. Order now and get everything you need for Mother's Day on DoorDash. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. That's code LOCKEDONMLB. Trust me, DoorDash is the way to go. Add some convenience to your Mother's Day shopping with DoorDash. Terms apply.
Passion, drive, and patience. No, I'm not talking about a winning marriage formula. I'm talking about the formula for winning championships. And it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your #1 ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's guaranteed fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you're going to get your money back. That's because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit available only to U.S. customers.
You've got to check out Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel that is programmed just for you every single day to bring you the biggest stories in all of sports. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And speaking of every day, shout out to our everydayers out there. You guys and gals are awesome. For our everydayers, on the next Locked On Reds podcast, make sure you tune in because we're going to break down Doug Day, Graham Ashcraft. He's back on the mound. We're going to look at just how good he did and how much closer to the sun he reached. Insert Icarus reference in here. I don't know. I was trying. Yeah. Let's talk about some good pitching.
See what happens when you see what happens when you deviate from Star Wars. That's just
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, okay, how much closer to the chosen one does he get? Yes, much better. Feels right. Frankie Montas was on fire last night in more ways than one. I mean, a fantastic pitching performance, but even more so than his actual box score was the underlying numbers, Steve. That dude was on fire.
No, you're telling the truth. And that box score is an impressive thing. all by itself, Jeff. 6 innings pitched. He allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run. The second run came courtesy of an Ellie De La error. And then Montas continued to roll, striking out 7, only issuing 1 free pass, 1 walk in those 6 innings. In fact, his pitch mix, Jeff, he threw 87 pitches total in this game yesterday. 61 of them went over for strikes.
And he threw all 5 of his pitches. And the thing for me, and it was something they talked about on the broadcast quite a bit, but the velo was up across the board. His fastball, his splitter, sinker, cutter, slider, everything was up. And so was his spin rate. So literally and figuratively, his stuff played up. And he actually was asked about that. And I found his response to be quite intriguing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been doing some stuff. We've been working this 15 plus days, whatever. I was not pitching. I put a lot of emphasis on fixing my mechanic. Doing the stuff I need to do because I wanted, when I come back, I wanted to be able to perform. First of all, but other thing, I wanted to go out there without being afraid of letting it go. And I feel like I said before, I told myself so many times, be patient, don't chase velo, being afraid of, getting hurt again or whatever, but it's I thought, hey, your shoulder is fixed, your shoulder doesn't hurt, it doesn't bother you, let it go, let it eat, and I feel which feels good. I mean, obviously, the result, we lost the game, but, personally, it's just, for me, just to be able out there to go out there and kind of just let it eat, throw as hard as I can and feel good, and throw 6 innings. For me, I feel good about that.
I appreciate that because as much as we ascribe superhuman traits to these guys and the different performances that they can give us out on a diamond, they're human too. And Frankie Montas is coming off of a huge surgery where he was gone for a while, off the diamond for a while. And now, this was his year to prove he is healthy and ready to go. So sure, his first handful of starts, he's going to be a little bit timid. So I appreciate him coming out and saying that, yeah, I was kind of timid a little bit. And tonight I wasn't. And that was the big difference.
Yeah, that was inside look at the psychology of a guy being willing to pitch with maximum effort. And what that tells me is up until this point, he has not pitched with maximum effort. And it translates, right, to the spin rate you were talking about, to the velocity that you were talking about. All of it translates through measurable statistics. All of the analytics support what Frankie was saying there, which is he reached back and let it go. And the biggest takeaway from all of that he had to say is your shoulder's fixed. His shoulder's fixed. He pitched with maximum effort and his shoulder doesn't hurt. His shoulder's fixed. That's amazing. Frankie Montas continues to pitch the way that he pitched last night, Jeff. There's ace 1C. If Hunter Green keeps it up and Nick Lodolo keeps it up and Frankie Montas keeps it up, that is a hell of a playoff rotation right there, my friend. The Reds just got a hit.
It really is. And look, I know that we're all in this world where everyone wants to go scorched earth and everything is horrible and nothing's going right for this team. But there are plenty of things that once they start hitting, literally once they start hitting, everything else is going to be ready in place for them because of performances like this. Now, it was buoyed by a left-hander that remained in the major leagues.
Where we're going to talk about Sam Moll not being in the room where it happens?
I see. Okay, here's the thing. You and I both said whenever Sam Moll was sent down, we're like, why wasn't Buck Farmer DFA'd? Why wasn't Emilio Pagan DFA'd? We were looking at some different guys like that. You even brought up Lucas Sims. Neither one of us brought up Justin Wilson because I think part of us was thinking, dude, 3 left-handers? Dude, that'd be pretty cool, man. Heck yeah. But if he's going to pitch like that, maybe we only need 2.
Well, that's not a wrong take. And of course, the people that were upset about Sam Moll being sent down, we spent a lot of yesterday, Jeff, you and I at least, talking about options. We've been talking about options, not talking about a game. We're talking about options. Right. And those options are what ultimately led to Sam Moll being sent down, because there's 3 guys in this bullpen right now that have options. One of them's named Sam Moll. One of them's named Alexis Diaz. And you know who the third guy is?
Fernando Cruz.
Fernando Cruz. You're not sending Alexis Diaz to Louisville. It's not happening. And the way that Fernando Cruz has been pitching, you're not sending Fernando Cruz. So by default, you have a luxury item in a third lefty, and you look at the options, and it's the easy answer, right? Well, not so fast. Justin Wilson, you know, I don't know that he's done enough to garner that type of consideration. 7 innings this season so far, Jeff. 8.59 ERA, and I know you don't like to look at that for relievers because
especially this early,
right? And that does include his 4-run performance yesterday. He's pitched in 12 games. I don't know that he's been that luxury that we're talking about him being. I would much rather have Sam Moll, I think. And Justin Wilson signed late. Justin Wilson, it was not super sought after by other teams in Major League Baseball. There's a possibility with the way that he's pitched thus far, he'd clear waivers. I mean, really, it's not unrealistic to think he would clear waivers.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, okay, so here's the thing. His strikeout rate is awesome. His walk rate is below league average. The thing that is crazy, though, Steve, what did I spend all offseason talking about when I wanted a relief pitcher or any pitcher?
Ground ball percentage.
What is okay? Over under. I'm gonna set the over under at 25.5. Is his ground ball rate better than 25.5% or worse?
So is it higher than 25? No.
Yeah, is it higher or lower?
No, lower.
It's 11.8%.
So 90%. So 90% of the balls in play are going in the air.
It's either a line drive or a fly ball. Yeah, at Great American Ballpark, 90%. So okay, there are some reasons why I think yes, you keep them. Some reasons that I'm like, what? So we'll see how this one plays out because it's still very early to really go too crazy about guys that are on the team and guys that aren't on the team. But I just think, man, like Sam Moll, I hadn't given up a run in a while. So you look at that and you look at a guy that gives up 4 runs in one night and you're like, well, maybe Sam Moll could have done better. I don't know. We're knee-jerk reaction a little bit on that one, but
sure.
It just it really soured what was a great game.
To be fair to Justin Wilson, I mean, we should probably talk about a larger look at his body of work rather than just look at his 4-run performance yesterday. Because on his career, he's pitched in 539 big league games with a 3.49 ERA in those 500 plus games. He's definitely got something there. You know, he's what he was last night is not who he's been over the course of his career. So, you're right. I don't think we need to expose him to waivers today, but people are going to be watching. He's going to be looked at through a harder lens now, knowing that Sam Moll is sitting down in Louisville ready to go and has not given up a run.
And the 11.8 is such an aberration. His career ground ball rate is 46%. That's like where we want it to be. So I think there's definitely a lot there with Justin Wilson. It just so happened to be the absolute wrong time to blow up if you're a lefty and your name's not Sam Moll.
No, absolutely. All right, Jeff, let's do this. We've talked about some of the good. We've talked about our excitement with Captain Chaos returning to the Reds. So coming up, let's kind of push the reset button now. The Reds can still win this series with the Diamondbacks. They just need to put together a win streak. Because Jeff, if you win 2 games in a row, that's a winning streak and they could still win this series. So we're going to talk about what's next in this series with the Diamondbacks coming up right after this. Baseball season is moving right along. We are screaming towards the middle of May. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the Diamond to your Prize Picks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. We're talking about the Reds right now. Don't take first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Pick entry today. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit the entries in just under 60 seconds. They've got quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types that make it America's #1 fantasy sports app. The best way to get that payout is to hammer more on Ellie De La Cruz stats. He is the saving grace of the Reds lineup on most days. Stolen bases, safe bet, take more. Just take more. Doesn't even matter what the number is. Just take more. So get in on the action with Prize Picks. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a $100 match, up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. You can catch every pitch of the Reds' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Reds. Also, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you bookmark the site si.com/MLB/Reds for written content about your Cincinnati Reds. Jeff's writing over there, Caleb Sisk, Audie Elmore, Rick Uccino, myself every once in a while, James Rapine. Lots of great written coverage for the Reds over there. All right, Jeff. It's time to push the reset button now. We've talked about the changes that the Reds made. It didn't really work in their favor last night to jumpstart the offense, but several guys showed some signs of breaking out. I was telling you all game long that I thought there was something coming from Tyler Stevenson, and he didn't disappoint there at the end. He managed to get that bomb. 36 to go. He got another home run. 36 more to go.
Everydayers will know.
He is, everydayers will know what I'm talking about, but he's been hitting the ball fairly hard, fairly well. It's just been kind of right at people. Finally got a hold of one and parked it in the stands. Jonathan India hit for some power as well. He has been kind of streaky. We hope that he was going to have an extended breakout when he had that big day down in Texas. It's ebbed and flowed a little bit. Hopefully he's on another upswing. There's reasons to think that maybe you and your buddy David Bell, I know you guys are best friends, there's a reason that you two keep saying hashtag they're going to hit. So hopefully now with the lineup settling in a little bit, TJ Friedl back at the top, today is going to be the day.
And the good news is they get a lefty on the mound to face. It's yay. It just always maintains to be easy for this team. No, actually so far this season, Jordan Montgomery has not had the kind of performance that he really showed in last year's playoffs. But you know what, Steve? We're not going to do that because I think we need to really talk him up here because, I mean, he doesn't walk people. He really limits the barrels. Guys don't barrel this guy at all. Like if you don't, no walking, no barreling. Like
I love what you're trying to do here. I love what you're trying to do here, Jeff. I love it.
It's gonna be tough. I think we need to win 1-0 here, Steve. That's gonna be.
Oh my God. Well, if our track record holds true, the Reds are gonna score 100 runs today with what you just said. So, but here's the thing. With a lefty on the mound in Jordan Montgomery, who, if we're speaking truthisms right now, has looked to be hittable this year. It is still early. He didn't suddenly forget how to pitch, so He will have his moments. But with him on the mound, the Reds are going to go with a right-handed lineup. So I imagine in the outfield we're going to see some form of Spencer Steer in left, TJ Friedl in center, Stuart Fairchild in right. We've talked about that if you put Stuart Fairchild in the right situations, even though we consider him to be a 4A type player, he can be valuable. His splits versus left-handers this season have been phenomenal. So get him out there against Jordan Montgomery and see what happens. See what he can do. I like that. The infield will remain much as it's been. They'll just kind of run everybody out there. Ellie will be batting right-handed. The rest of the guys, Jamer, will be batting right-handed. So, they're going to go out there and take their hacks. But I do like now having TJ Friedl back at the top, possibly laying down a bunt at some point in time in the game, becoming a little bit of a disruptor, and the Reds kind of taking it from there. I think if they can get to Montgomery early, if they can somehow manufacture a run or two in the first 3 innings, that's going to go a long way in setting the tone today for them possibly winning this game.
I really, and I get it. I know that it's really more about, which catcher is best with which pitcher and all this other stuff. I just really want Tyler Stevenson to play in this game. Like, I feel like he's really starting to break out. And the good news is that Graham Ashcraft has pitched 5 games with Tyler Stevenson. So I think we should see him in this game. He's pitched 5 games with Tyler Stevenson, 1 game with Luke Maley. But just keep rolling him out there because it feels like he's really seeing the ball well right now. Hopefully this is a game too that we can start seeing some results from, dare I say, Jamer Candelario. He hit the ball hard last night. He really did. But Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's horrible. Maybe I need to go scorched earth. Maybe he's just.
Stop it.
I don't know, Steve. It's killing me inside. It's killing me. It's killing me. Oh, I don't know what to do.
Well, all we can do, and this is the thing. You and I have a tendency to do this as fans of this team. Covering them makes it a little bit different, but Reds country, the same. We all tend to look at baseball through an NFL lens. The NFL has changed the way everybody looks at professional sports, and one game a season does not make in Major League Baseball. So all we can do is sit back and hope that today is a better day, and hope that we are actually seeing the signs of these guys breaking out, because I think you and your best friend David are right. They are eventually going to hit. Hashtag Jeff loves David. They're gonna get it done eventually. It's going to happen. They cannot continue like this. Everyone cannot continue to hit sub 200. It's just not statistically possible that this team is going to hit that bad all season long.
No, and this team is not going to. It's got too much talent. It really, really does. And who knows? Tonight might be that night that they start figuring some things out, because it was something that Tommy Thrall said on the radio broadcast last night. He was just like, most of the time in baseball, things like this, like you try to look at it, you try to explain it from numbers, from eye test, from, well, he's, they're picking up the feet the wrong way, or maybe he's leaning back to, no, at some point, somebody's going to get a bloop, and it's just going to click. Everybody's going to start hitting. And that's just how this game goes. Why not tonight? Why not tonight? And that is where I will leave it, because I can't wait to see what Graham Ashcraft does. But quite frankly, the pitching has been phenomenal for the last couple of weeks. And they're just begging, pleading for any run support whatsoever. Maybe it's time.
Yeah, they just need some runs. They need some runs. That's going to do it for this edition of Locked on Reds. Thanks, as always, for making us your first listen every day. Everydayers coming up on tomorrow's show. Jeff is going to break down that Graham Ashcraft start for you, and hopefully be talking about the Reds drawing even in this series. Tell your friends about the show. Bring them over here. Have them check us out on YouTube. Have them subscribe in the audio feeds. And when they do, Jeff, what are they going to find?
They're going to find that we're going to be all over the comings and goings of this team, whether it be by the numbers, by the eye test, all kinds of great things here. We are going to be all over the Reds, because we are Locked on Reds every single day. Seriously, slump. I think this slump is breaking me. I really do.
Okay, you called it.